Welcome to Learn English with Hamzy, the channel where you don't just learn English, you live it, you feel it, and most importantly, you speak it, whether you're learning alone or in a class, from home or on the move. This space is for people who believe that learning English can change your world. And today, we're about to learn something that could change not just your English, but your entire life. Have you ever felt stuck in life? Have you ever asked yourself, why do I keep doing things that I don't want to do? Maybe it's checking your phone again and again. Maybe it's procrastinating when you know there's work to be done. Or maybe it's just this quiet frustration inside you, that your days look the same, and your dreams feel far away. If you've ever felt that, you're not lazy, you're not weak, you're just living with habits you didn't choose. And that's what today's video is all about. Your habits shape your life. Today we're diving into one of the most powerful books on self-growth, The Power of Habit by Charles Duhigg. This book explains how habits work, how they form, and most importantly, how you can change them. But this video is not just a summary. It's your classroom. In the next 30 minutes, you will learn how to break bad habits, build strong new habits, understand powerful English phrases, grow your English listening and vocabulary, learn how to describe habits, routines, and personal change in English. So don't just listen passively. Pause, take notes, repeat sentences out loud, and reflect. Because when you learn with emotion and meaning, your brain remembers more. Let me ask you something personal. Have you ever tried to change something in your life, but somehow you always fall back into your old ways? You say, I'll wake up early tomorrow. I'll stop eating junk food. I'll study English every day. But 2 days later, it's gone. Back to old routines. Back to old habits. Why does this happen? Are we weak? No. Here's what the power of habit teaches us. Habits aren't destiny. They can be ignored, changed, or replaced. But first, we need to understand how they work. And that's where the journey begins. Before we dive deeper, let's define something clearly in English. What is a habit? A habit is a behavior that happens automatically without you thinking about it. Like brushing your teeth, tying your shoes, checking your phone, opening Instagram, reaching for a snack when you're bored. It's your brain's way of saving energy. Instead of thinking every time, it builds shortcuts. These shortcuts are powerful and dangerous because your brain doesn't choose what becomes a habit. It just repeats what you do most often. Vocabulary focus. Cue, the trigger that starts the habit. Routine, the behavior or action you do. Reward, the benefit or feeling you get afterward. This is called the habit loop. And this loop controls much of your life silently. How the book begins. The book opens with a fascinating story. A woman named Lisa had been stuck in life, smoking, overweight, unhappy. Then one day, her marriage fell apart. She reached rock bottom, and she decided to change one thing. She would stop smoking. That one change, one habit, led to a chain reaction. She began running. She began eating better. She got a new job. She transformed. The researchers studied her brain. What they found was stunning. Her neural pathways had rewired themselves. All because she changed one habit. This is the power of Keystone habits, one small shift that leads to massive change. The power of small wins. Here's what's truly beautiful. You don't need to change everything. You just need to change one thing, one small habit. And when you do it consistently, your brain starts to believe. I can change. And once the belief is planted, everything becomes possible. Charles Duhigg explains that habits follow a simple formula. Cue, routine, reward. And if you want to change a habit, you don't need to change the whole formula. You only need to change the routine. Let me tell you a story. When I first tried to learn English, I thought I needed motivation every day. I waited to feel inspired. I waited for a perfect study plan. But nothing changed because I didn't have a habit. Then one day I made a rule. I will speak to myself in English for 3 minutes after I brush my teeth. That was it. No big goals. Just 3 minutes. But over time, that 3 minutes became 10. Then 15. Then 30. Yeah? I don't wait for motivation. Because the habit takes care of it. And this is exactly what Duhigg teaches. Motivation is overrated. Habits are what change your life. Vocabulary booster, speak with emotion. Let's pause and practice some vocabulary from today's part. Clumsy, not smooth or confident. My English felt clumsy at first, but I didn't give up. Repetition, doing the same thing again and again. Fluency comes from repetition. Momentum, when something starts moving and keeps growing. Habits create momentum. Try saying these words out loud. Make your mouth practice the rhythm of English. Because speaking fluently starts with small, clumsy steps. And those steps, when repeated, become smooth. Now I want to hear from you. Answer this in the comments or in your journal. 1. What's one habit you want to break? 2. What's one small habit you could start today that would make your life better? 3. Can you describe your daily routine in English? Even writing just 2 or 3 sentences in English today is a win. Because learning isn't about big moments, it's about showing up every day. So today you've learned that habits are invisible forces in our lives. That they follow a pattern, cue, routine, reward. That changing one habit can change everything. And that learning English is a habit too, not a goal, but a system. Now, we'll break down exactly how to spot your current habits and how to replace them one by one. We'll also continue learning powerful vocabulary and expressions to grow your English naturally, through meaning, through emotion, and through life-changing content. The secret code of habits, cue, routine, reward. In the last part, we discovered something powerful. That habits are not just behaviors. They are invisible forces shaping your life. You wake up and check your phone. You eat when you feel bored. You scroll when you feel anxious. You sleep late, even though you promised yourself not to. But why? It's not because you're weak. It's because your brain is following a pattern, a loop. In psychology and neuroscience, Charles Duhigg calls this the habit loop. And it is made of just 3 simple parts. 1. Cue. 2. Routine. 3. Reward. This is the formula behind every habit you've ever had. Cue, routine, reward. Let's break this down with simple English and strong examples. Part 1. Cue, the trigger. A cue is the signal that tells your brain, hey, it's time to start this habit. Could be a time of day. Could be an emotion. Could be a place. Could be a person. Or even a smell or sound. Examples. You feel stressed, you grab a snack. You hear a message ping, you open your phone. You smell coffee, you go to the kitchen. You feel lonely, you open Instagram. The cue starts the cycle. English focus. Trigger equals something that starts a reaction. Signal equals a sound, action, or event that causes something. Automatically equals without thinking. Try saying this aloud. When I feel nervous, I automatically check my phone. Now you try. When I feel, I automatically. That's your cue. Part 2. Routine, the action. The routine is what you do. It's the actual behavior. This could be good or bad. Examples. You bite your nails. You drink water. You go for a walk. You speak English aloud. You open YouTube and scroll for an hour. The routine is the visible part of the habit. But the real reason it happens is the reward. Part 3. Reward, the benefit. Your brain always wants something in return. That's the reward. Maybe it's relief from stress, a feeling of pleasure, a sense of connection, a short escape, a little comfort, a sugar rush. Even if the behavior is harmful, your brain says, I feel better. And that moment of pleasure is what your brain remembers. That's how the loop becomes stronger. In The Power of Habit, Charles Duhigg talks about his own habit. Every afternoon at work, he would go to the cafeteria and eat a cookie. At first, he thought he was just hungry. But when he studied his habit loop, he realized it wasn't about hunger, it was about socializing. The cue was boredom. The routine was walking to the cafeteria. The reward was talking to his colleagues. So he changed the routine. Instead of eating a cookie, he just walked to his friends and talked, and the habit changed. Vocabulary focus. Word meaning example sentence. Loop, a repeated cycle, I'm stuck in a loop of bad sleep. Routine, a repeated behavior, my morning routine includes journaling. Craving, a strong desire, I have a craving for sugar after dinner. Trigger, a signal that starts something. Stress is a trigger for emotional eating. Now say these aloud in your own sentence. My bad habit loop starts when I feel. How to change a habit. Here's the good news. You don't need to destroy the whole habit. You only need to change the routine, not the cue, not the reward. This is the golden rule of habit change. Keep the cue. Keep the reward. Change the routine. Let's look at an example with English learning. Example, speaking English daily. Cue, you brush your teeth in the morning. Old routine, you check your phone and scroll. New routine, you speak 3 English sentences aloud. Reward, you feel proud. You hear yourself using real English. And the best part? Your brain connects the habit to that reward. The more you do it, the stronger it becomes. This is how fluency is built. Not in 1 week, not by watching grammar rules, but by small, repeated, meaningful routines. Thought prompt, think and answer. What's one habit loop you can identify in your life? Cue equals. Routine equals. Reward equals. Now, how could you change just the routine? Think about it. Write it in the comments. Speak it aloud. Even writing it builds self-awareness. And awareness is the first step to transformation. Mini challenge for the audience. I challenge you to pick 1 English habit loop to work on this week. It could be speaking aloud after brushing your teeth, listening to English after breakfast, reading 1 page before sleeping, watching 1 short English video daily and shadowing. Start small. Your goal is not perfection. Your goal is consistency. You've learned how habits are formed, how to break bad ones, how to build new ones, how to connect these ideas with your English journey. This is just the beginning, because in the next part we're going to discover the habit of belief and the key to long-term change. We'll also learn powerful new words and explore stories of transformation, all while improving your English naturally. The power of belief and Keystone habits. Let me ask you something honest. Have you ever tried to change, but deep inside you didn't really believe you could? You set goals. You made plans. You told yourself, this time will be different. But something inside whispered, you failed before. You're not strong enough. You always give up. And because of that inner voice, you stopped. Charles Duhigg in The Power of Habit reveals something powerful. To change a habit, to change your life, you must believe change is possible. It's not about willpower. It's not about discipline. It's about belief. Because belief changes your identity. And when your identity changes, your habits follow. What is belief? Belief is not just an idea in your head. It's a feeling in your heart that I can become someone better. When you truly believe that, you don't need to fight your old self every day, because you start showing up as your future self now. Book example, Alcoholics Anonymous, AA. One of the most powerful examples in the book is Alcoholics Anonymous, the famous 12-step recovery program. Thousands of people around the world have quit alcohol not with medicine or therapy, but through belief. How? They replaced their habit loop with new routines. But more importantly, they started believing they could change. And that belief grew stronger because they weren't alone. They had community. People might be skeptical at first, Duhigg writes. But when they see others like them succeeding, something changes inside. They think, if she can do it, maybe I can too. That's the birth of belief. And belief is contagious. How this applies to you, the English learner. If you're watching this, you're not just trying to understand a book. You're trying to believe in yourself. Maybe you've told yourself, I'm too old to learn English. I'm not confident when I speak. My grammar is bad. People will laugh at my accent. But what if that's not true? What if all you need is 1 habit, 1 routine, 1 success? To prove to yourself that, yes, I can do this. Because you can. And it starts with belief. What are Keystone habits? In the book, Duhigg introduces the idea of Keystone habits. These are core habits that affect every other part of your life. Like a keystone in an arch, they hold everything together. When you change a Keystone habit, other good habits begin to form like a chain reaction. Examples of Keystone habits. Exercising regularly improves your energy, sleep, eating, confidence. Waking up early gives time for reflection, planning, learning. Tracking what you eat makes you more aware of your choices. Speaking English every morning boosts your confidence, fluency, and daily focus. Keystone habits don't just change behavior, they change identity. You don't say, I'm trying to speak English. You say, I am a person who speaks English. That shift is everything. Vocabulary focus. Word meaning example sentence. Belief, trust, or confidence in something. Belief gives us power to keep going. Keystone central or most important, waking early became my Keystone habit. Recovery returned to a good condition. His recovery began with 1 small habit. Transform changed completely. Speaking English daily transformed my confidence. Practice sentences. I want to build belief in myself. My Keystone habit is reading English every night. Now try. My Keystone habit is. Say it. Write it. Own it. I'll tell you something from my own life. I used to feel uncomfortable speaking English. I studied grammar. I knew the rules. But when I had to speak, I froze. I felt fake. My voice shook. I forgot simple words. One day, I decided to do one thing. Every morning, I'd speak out loud for 5 minutes. No excuses. At first, I felt silly, but I kept going. Day 1 awkward. Day 5 smoother. Day 10 I spoke without fear. Day 20 I started thinking in English. That was my Keystone habit. And it changed everything. So now I ask you, what's the one English habit that could change everything for you? From belief to identity. In this book, there's a powerful shift. From focusing on goals to focusing on identity. Instead of saying, I want to learn English, say, I am someone who speaks English. Instead of, I want to change my life, say, I'm becoming someone who creates better habits. Language matters, because the words you use become the identity you live. Habit plus belief equals lasting change. Here's the final insight from this chapter. You can build a habit, but if you don't believe you're someone who can succeed, the habit won't last. But when you believe in the new version of yourself, you protect the habit even when life gets hard. So don't just build a habit. Build a story about yourself that includes growth. Comment and reflect. 1. What's your Keystone habit? 2. What habit helped you believe you could improve? 3. Finish this sentence. I am someone who learns and speaks English every day. Say it with pride. How habits shape companies and control your mind. Let me ask you something important. Have you ever found yourself buying something you didn't plan to buy? Or opening an app even though you had no reason to? You didn't think about it. You didn't want it. But you still did it. Why? Because companies know something about you. Something most people don't even know about themselves. You are a creature of habit. And they've learned how to use that against you or sometimes for you. In The Power of Habit, Charles Duhigg shows how businesses use the habit loop to shape our choices, and how they design systems that train your brain to act automatically. Let's explore how they do it, and how you can take back control. Example, the Febreze story. Let's begin with a real case. Febreze, the famous air freshener by Procter & Gamble. When it first launched, it failed completely. People didn't want to use it, even though it removed bad smells. Why? Because smell was not enough to create a cue routine reward loop. People didn't think of spraying Febreze as a habit, it was just a product. So what did the company do? They changed the reward. Instead of focusing on removing odor, they created a new emotional reward. Febreze is the final touch to a clean home. After cleaning, you spray it. Feels fresh, clean, finished. They showed commercials of happy moms smiling, spraying Febreze like a finishing move. That became the reward, feeling complete. Sales exploded. Why? Because the product became part of a habit loop. Cue routine reward. Let's look at Febreze habit loop. Cue, finish cleaning. Routine, spray Febreze. Reward, emotional satisfaction, fresh smell, clean environment. This wasn't an accident. It was science. It was habit psychology. And this is how brands shape our behavior. Another example, apps and social media. Think about your phone. Every beep, red dot, vibration, that's a cue. You unlock your phone without thinking. You open Instagram, WhatsApp, TikTok. Even when you didn't plan to. That's the routine. Then you get the reward. A message, a like, a video, a laugh. Your brain goes, I feel good. I want this again. So it builds the habit loop. And soon, you don't control your phone. Your phone controls you. Vocabulary focus, business and behavior terms. Word meaning example sentence. Consumer, a person who buys or uses products. Companies study consumer behavior to improve sales. Trigger, a signal that starts a response. Red notification dots are common triggers on phones. Marketing, promoting and selling products. Febreze used emotional marketing to boost sales. And they began sending baby product ads to her home. In one case, a teenage girl received baby product coupons. Her father got angry and went to the store. Later, he found out his daughter was pregnant. Target had figured it out before he did. People's habits are so predictable they can be used to guess private life events. This is the power and the danger of habits. It's not just about buying toothpaste. It's about how your mind can be shaped without your permission. What can you learn from this? Here's the good news. The same psychology that companies use to control you, you can use to empower yourself. Instead of letting businesses hijack your brain, use the habit loop to build your own routines. Like, cue after lunch. Routine, watch 10 minutes of English video. Reward, feeling productive, checking it off your list. Or, cue, morning coffee. Routine, write one English paragraph. Reward, pride, fluency, growth, confidence. You don't need to fight your brain. You need to train it before someone else does. English structure practice. Let's practice using cause and effect sentence structures important for talking about behavior. Examples. Because I saw a notification, I opened my phone. When I feel bored, I usually scroll social media. Due to habit, I always check YouTube at night. Now you try. Because I. Here are 3 questions for you. 1. What product do you buy or use purely out of habit? 2. Can you name an app you open without thinking? 3. What's one company routine you could replace with an English learning habit? Think about this deeply. Because the moment you see your patterns, you can start rewriting them. Build a mind you own. In today's world, you are surrounded by habit triggers. Ads, notifications, promotions, limited time offers, pop-up messages, loyalty cards, buy one get one free. They're not random. They're engineered to shape your routine. You can either be a consumer of habits or a creator of them. Once you understand the science of habits, Duhigg writes, you become the master of your choices. And that's the goal of this lesson. Take back your attention. Take back your time. Take back your habits. And choose to use them for something greater. How to change any habit, step-by-step guide. By now you understand how habits are formed. Cue routine reward. You've learned how companies use this pattern to influence your behavior. You've seen how belief and identity power habit change. But today, it's time to go practical. How do you actually change a habit? Not in theory, not one day, but now and for good. That's exactly what Part 5 is about. Step 1. Identify the loop. To change a habit, you need to become a scientist of your own behavior. Charles Duhigg says, you must identify the routine before you can change it. Let's say you bite your nails, check your phone constantly, or snack late at night. Don't judge yourself. Just observe. What time does it happen? What are you feeling? What's the trigger? You're looking for the cue. Is it a time of day? A feeling like boredom or stress? A location? A specific person nearby? An emotion? Once you can name the cue, you're halfway to changing the loop. English practice, habit journal exercise. Let's say your habit is, I scroll YouTube for hours every night. Ask yourself, 1. What was the cue? E.g., boredom, silence, anxiety. 2. What's the routine? E.g., scrolling videos endlessly. 3. What's the reward? E.g., distraction, comfort, escape. Now write that down in English like this. Cue. Feeling bored after dinner. Routine. Watch random videos. Reward. Temporary entertainment. This is your habit loop journal. Try it with one habit today. Step 2. Experiment with rewards. Here's the surprising part. Sometimes the reward isn't what you think it is. Maybe you snack because you're tired, not hungry. Maybe you scroll because you're anxious, not bored. You need to test different rewards to find out what your brain is actually craving. Duhigg suggests try new routines with the same cue and see what satisfies you. Example. Cue, stress after work. Option 1, eat chocolate. Option 2, go for a walk. Option 3, call a friend. Option 4, watch a relaxing video. Then ask yourself, do I still feel the need? The reward that works is the one your brain remembers. Step 3, isolate the cue. There are 5 common categories of cues. 1. Location, where are you? 2. Time, what time is it? 3. Emotional state, how do you feel? 4. Other people, who's around? 5. Immediately preceding action, what did you just do? Write this down like an investigator. Example. I noticed I always snack late at night. Location, living room. Time, 11 p.m. Feeling, lonely. People, alone. Previous action, watching YouTube. Boom. That's your cue. Now you're ready to design a new habit. Vocabulary focus. Word meaning example sentence. Routine A. Repeated behavior. My routine is to write in English after breakfast. Substitute A. Replacement. I use tea as a substitute for soda. Rewire. Change how the brain reacts. New habits help rewire your thinking. Trigger. What starts the habit? Stress is often a trigger for bad habits. Practice. I'm trying to rewire my bad habits. I replaced late-night snacking with stretching. I identified my trigger as boredom. Now try. I used as a substitute for. Step 4. Create a plan. Now that you've studied your habit, it's time to create a cue-based plan. This is what Duhigg calls an implementation intention. When cue, I will new routine because it gives me reward. Let's build some English learning examples. When I brush my teeth, I will speak 3 English sentences because it makes me feel confident. When I finish lunch, I'll listen to 5 minutes of an English podcast because it keeps me consistent. When I feel bored, I'll open my vocabulary app because I love seeing my progress bar grow. Say it out loud. Write your version. This is how real change starts. Step 5. Be ready for resistance. Habits don't change overnight, and your brain will fight back at first. You'll feel lazy. You'll hear excuses. You'll want to go back to comfort. That's normal. But if you push through just a few days, the new habit gets easier. And here's a tip. Replace I have to with I'm the kind of person who. Instead of I have to speak English every day, say I'm the kind of person who practices every day even when it's hard. This changes your identity, and identity fuels habits that last. English grammar tip: conditional habits. Use the word when to create powerful sentence patterns. When I feel tired, I listen to English. When I eat, I read in English. When I'm alone, I shadow English audio. Try now. When I. This grammar structure is simple, but it creates deep patterns in your brain. Bonus tip: make habits obvious and easy. To succeed, make your new habits visible, simple, rewarding. Examples. Place your English journal on your pillow. Keep your English video bookmarked. Stick a post-it with your new habit on your wall. Set a daily alarm that says speak English now. You're not relying on willpower. You're designing your life. Recap: the 5-step formula to change any habit. 1. Identify the routine. 2. Experiment with rewards. 3. Isolate the cue. 4. Create a cue-based plan. 5. Reinforce your identity. Change doesn't come from trying harder. It comes from understanding the pattern and changing one part at a time. Reflection questions. 1. What habit do you want to change? 2. What cue triggers it? 3. What's the reward you're really seeking? 4. What new routine can give you that same reward? Write it in English. Speak it aloud. Create your new habit loop now. Final wrap-up and your daily habit system. You made it. If you've been watching from the beginning, then you already know something most people don't. You are not the product of motivation. You are not the result of random effort. You are the sum of your habits. And now, it's time to turn all this learning into action. Because knowledge is only potential power. Power comes when you act on what you've learned. Today, I'll help you build your own daily habit system for English, for growth, and for life. Let's begin. Part 1. You are what you repeatedly do. Let's start with a simple truth. We don't rise to the level of our goals. We fall to the level of our systems. James Clear. Even though this quote isn't from The Power of Habit, it reflects the entire message of the book. Think about it. It's not what you say you'll do. It's not what you hope to do. It's what you actually repeat day after day that creates your reality. Your routines create your results. Your identity follows your actions. And your life is built from your loops. Let's revisit what we've learned so far. In part 1, you discovered that habits run your life and that learning English is not about willpower but about consistent action. In part 2, you saw the habit loop, cue, routine, reward. In part 3, you learned about belief, identity, and keystone habits. In part 4, you saw how companies design habits and how you can design your own. In part 5, you learned the step-by-step process to change or create any habit. Now it's time for you to do something powerful. Create your own habit blueprint. A system that makes growth automatic. A structure that works even when you don't feel like it. Let's design it together. Part 2, the daily habit blueprint for English and life. Your habit system should be simple, flexible, and emotionally rewarding. Here's a 5-step blueprint that you can follow starting today. Step 1, define your identity. Before building a habit, define who you are becoming. Don't start with, I want to learn English. Start with, I'm becoming a confident English speaker. I am a fluent communicator in English. I am someone who grows every day through learning. Why does this matter? Because your identity will protect the habit when your motivation fades. Say it aloud now. I am the kind of person who... Fill in the blank with who you want to become. Step 2. Pick one keystone habit. Choose one habit that, when done consistently, will improve multiple areas of your life. Examples. Speaking 5 minutes of English aloud every morning. Journaling 1 paragraph in English daily. Listening to a podcast on your commute. Reading 1 page of a book before bed. This habit doesn't need to be big. It just needs to be consistent. Because once it sticks, other good habits will naturally grow around it. Step 3. Anchor it to a cue. Every habit must start with a cue. Here are some examples. After brushing your teeth. After eating breakfast. After your first cup of tea. After checking your planner. When you sit down at your desk. This is called habit stacking. After I existing habit, I will new habit. Example. After I brush my teeth, I'll say 3 English sentences. This makes it automatic. No overthinking. Step 4. Create the reward. Your brain only repeats habits that feel rewarding. So give yourself a small emotional boost every time you complete your habit. Examples. Check off a habit tracker. Say, I did it. Play your favorite song. Watch your streak grow. Record yourself and hear your improvement. Make your reward visible and emotional so your brain says, yes, let's do that again. Step 5. Track and reflect weekly. Don't aim for perfection. Aim for awareness. At the end of each week, reflect. What worked? What didn't? What was easy? What was hard? What will I try next week? Reflection turns habit into mastery. And it trains your brain to keep improving even when progress feels slow. Vocabulary boost, advanced habit verbs and expressions. Let's learn some advanced English expressions related to habits. Phrase meaning example. Stick to continue doing consistently. I stuck to my English routine for 30 days. Fall off track. Stop following your plan. I fell off track during the holidays. Get back on track. Start again after stopping. I missed 3 days, but I'm back on track. Build momentum. Gain energy from repetition. Speaking daily helped me build momentum. Cement a habit. Make it permanent. Daily journaling cemented my grammar skills. Try using these phrases in your journal or speech. Example. Even when I fall off track, I always get back on track because I believe in my progress. Part 3. Build your English system. Sample routine. Here's a sample English habit system you can personalize. Morning routine. Cue. Wake up. Habit. Speak 3 to 5 English sentences aloud. Reward. Confidence plus streak tracking. Midday routine. Cue. After lunch. Habit. Watch a short English video 5 to 10 minutes. Reward. Learning boost plus joy. Evening routine. Cue. Before bed. Habit. Write 3 sentences in your English journal. Reward. Reflection plus quiet learning moment. Start small. Pick 1 time slot and build from there. Remember, a 2-minute habit done daily is more powerful than a 2-hour habit done once a month. Part 4. When life gets hard, stick to the pattern. Here's the truth no one likes to say. You will miss days. You will get tired. You will feel discouraged. But don't quit the whole system. Instead, follow the never zero rule. Do something, even if it's tiny. Never zero. If you can't journal, say 1 sentence aloud. If you can't read, shadow 1 phrase. If you're exhausted, just review 1 word. Never zero. Because even a whisper of effort keeps your identity alive. Part 5. Your life is the system you design. If your system is built around your scrolling habits, you'll feel busy but empty. If your system is built around your growth habits, you'll feel small but powerful. Charles Duhigg ends his book with a reminder. Once you understand that habits can be rebuilt, the world becomes a place of change. It's no longer a set of limits, it's a series of possibilities. So I ask you now, what kind of life are you building 1 repetition at a time? What kind of English speaker are you becoming 1 sentence at a time? Because every sentence you say, every video you watch, every paragraph you write, that is you. Building your future, habit by habit. Part 6. Final reflection challenge. Audience participation. Before we end, I want to challenge you deeply. Grab a notebook or pause and speak aloud. Reflect on these. 1. Who am I becoming through my current habits? 2. What small change will help me grow as an English speaker? 3. What will I do every day, no matter what? To speak, live, and grow in English? Write it. Say it. Repeat it. Your words are the building blocks of your future. Part 7. The end, but also the beginning. Congratulations, my friend. You didn't just finish a book summary. You didn't just learn new vocabulary. You went on a journey of thought, belief, identity, and system. And now? Now you have what many people never build. A reason to grow. A system to support you. A habit blueprint that will serve you for the rest of your life. You can do this. You can speak English fluently. You can change your routines. You can rebuild your life. And you don't have to do it alone. If this video helped you, like it, show your brain you care about this journey. Comment your habit blueprint below. Subscribe to learn English with Hamzy. Share this series with someone who needs to believe in their power again. And remember this: your habits will write your story. Make sure it's one worth reading.